If you drive deep into the Nevada desert, far from any city or highway, you eventually hit a wall of silence. You can't just walk up and knock on the front door. The perimeter is guarded by a cluster of signs threatening severe legal and physical consequences for anyone trying to take a closer look. Look at this top-down satellite view. The physical footprint of this facility is immense, with huge runways carved directly into a dry lakebed, completely isolated from civilization. Yet, despite having a compound you can clearly see from space, the United States government refused to admit this installation existed on public records for decades. When authorities create a total information blackout, they create a vacuum, and human nature immediately steps in to fill that void with wild speculation. The government's absolute refusal to speak didn't protect the base from public scrutiny. That silence is exactly what turned Area 51 into a global myth. To understand what filled that silence, we have to look back to 1947. In the desert of New Mexico, reports surfaced that a strange, flying disc had crashed to the ground. Look at this newspaper clipping from the time. The military quickly walked back their initial statements, claiming the debris was merely a harmless weather balloon. In reality, they were testing mundane, high-altitude monitoring equipment like this massive army balloon. But the public trust was already shattered. A rumor took root that the military had gathered up alien wreckage, and perhaps even extraterrestrial bodies, and quietly transported them to that heavily guarded, unacknowledged base in Nevada. The military's shifting explanations for the Roswell crash provided the perfect starting point for public distrust. They demonstrated how inconsistent official statements can turn a single event into a decades-long mystery. In the 1960s and 70s, reports of unusual activity over the Nevada desert began to surge. Locals reported seeing intense flashes of light darting across the sky at speeds they couldn't comprehend. Primed by the Roswell rumors and the base's extreme security, people naturally assumed these impossible maneuvers were extraterrestrial. The truth was strictly terrestrial. Area 51 was actually a highly classified testing ground for America's most advanced Cold War espionage aviation. Engineers were developing aircraft that operated at altitudes and velocities far beyond normal civilian technology. Take the SR-71 Blackbird. With its sharp angles and pitch-black exterior, it looked entirely alien to anyone lucky enough to catch a glimpse. Because the military could not publicly confirm the existence of these spy planes, they simply let the alien rumors spread. The extraterrestrial mythology provided an accidental yet perfect cover. As long as the public was busy hunting for Martians, they weren't looking for the cutting-edge aerospace technology America was preparing against the Soviet Union. Decades of unchecked mythology eventually collided with the modern internet. In 2019, a massive online movement known as Storm Area 51 went viral. Millions of people engaged with a satirical plot to overrun the base, to finally see them aliens. A highly classified military fortress had transformed into a pop culture punchline, with civilians posing happily next to cartoon alien warning signs. Even though the base's true history as an aviation testing facility is now largely declassified, the cultural appetite for alien lore easily overpowers the dry facts of government reports. We know they tested spy planes out there, but the decades of deception still leave a lingering question. Are there deeper, unacknowledged secrets still buried out in the desert? Area 51 shows what happens when the gap between public knowledge and government action becomes too wide. If the doors remain locked and the silence continues, the imagination will always fill the space with its own answers.